Hey y'all, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to do another flamingo transformation from the Dollar Tree and turn it into this cool vulture taxidermy piece. If you want to see another project that I did, turning a flamingo into a vulture, please look in the description box and I'll also pin a comment to where I make a candle holder. But anyway, at the end of this video, you'll probably see it looks like blood dripping down the plaque here. I had just used some hot glue. I dripped it down and then painted that red as well. Anyway, let's go make it. All right, friends, let us get started. First off, you are going to need one of these plastic flamingos. Now, this one came from the Dollar Tree. And you're also going to need one of these little wooden plaques. This came from the Dollar Tree as well. They have several different shapes. I just happened to grab this one because my store was sold out of the other ones. But they do have oval in these and some are beveled. So you use whatever you want to use. But first off, what we're going to do is we are going to cut this tag off like so. There we go. And then we'll just push down inside of his little beak there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. And we want to make sure about how much of this we want to show. Like I said, this is sort of like our taxidermy here. And I think it will be okay. You see how this little part right here kind of goes up? I think that's kind of where I want to cut it. So, yeah, I'm just going to take, do I have a pen somewhere? Well, I have a Sharpie marker. This is what I can use. We're going to be painting this here in a minute, so don't worry about the marker getting anywhere. So I'm just going to take this and just kind of mark it right about where I want to cut it. Like so. That looks pretty good. And now we have our X-Acto knife here. And I'm going to take that and I'm just going to cut down this line here. Now these are fairly thin, so you shouldn't have any problem at all cutting it. But I'm not really putting a lot of pressure at all on this. But just be careful when you're using these blades. I know I shouldn't have to say that, but you know, Lord knows as soon as I don't, somebody's going to cut themselves and then they're going to come back and yell at me about it. Like the person that yelled at me because the hot glue gun was hot. Hot glue gun. You know, there's your indicator. But anyway, I'm going to cut this all the way around. All the way around on this side. And then I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to spray paint it with this chalkboard paint. Now you use whatever kind of black paint you want to. I just have this on hand and I want to use it up. But anyway, like I said, the chalkboard black, something under my nail. The chalkboard paint, I'm going to spray paint that. Now as far as this board here, I'm going to paint this with sort of like this gray colored chalk paint. And this came from Hobby Lobby, but you know, lots of craft stores and Walmart carries this. So that's going to be great, and we're going to spray paint this black. All right, so our flamingo buddy has now been painted black. And now what I have here is Tuscan red. This is just plain old acrylic paint. Let me see. Yeah, this is the brush I want to use. So this is just plain old acrylic paint. And what we're going to do is we are going to paint the head and neck, whatever part that we want to be red. Now, if y'all have seen my video that I made where I used the, hold on and I'll get it. I've got it right over here. Hold on, my candle's falling down. Hold on. Stuff is stuck all over the daggone place. My candle holder that I made out of the flamingo water bottle, and then I showed you how to make this candle. So this is going to go on a table and this is going to kind of like hang beside of it. So what we're doing is we are just going to paint the head probably about down to right here. You see where, you see like these feathers that start? That's kind of like where I want to start, where I want it to stay black. So we're just going to paint this. And this has more texture to it than that water bottle did. So we're going to paint this and I'm going to try my best to keep the eyes black. And then I'm just going to paint like a little white dot in the center. So I have some smaller paint brushes over here. I might need to break those out. But anyway, I'm just going to paint this on both sides, of course. The face, and then we'll paint all the way down to the bottom of the neck. Okay, so the red has not completely dried yet, but this is kind of sort of what it's looking like. So now what I'm going to do on this black part, I have some white paint, and we're just going to dry brush it a little bit just to give it a little bit of depth, a little bit of something, something. So I have my paintbrush here, and I need a piece of paper. Here we go. I got a piece of paper. Just going to barely get some paint on there and then just kind of dab it. So there's not a whole lot. And then I'm just going to kind of like just brush over these feathers just a little bit. Like I said, just to give it some depth, okay? Just to give it some depth. Like so. I don't want to put a whole lot on there. It's kind of tricky because that red paint is still a little wet. I don't want to stick my hand in it. All right, so just do like so. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna go put my hand up in there. I'm sorry, Mr. Thingy. I'm just gonna have to put my hand all up in your orifice here. All right, we're just gonna do this all over like so, and then we're going to let that dry. Alrighty, so this is what we have so far, and we are going to be gluing this to this here in a little bit. So let's work on this some more. I have some of this black acrylic paint, and I have a little sponge here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put a little bit of this black paint on this gray here, just to kind of, I don't even know what the term you want to use for it, because listen, I'm tired. I have been running around all daggum day. I'm tired. This is like day 2 of me working on this video. You see, I'm just kind of dabbing it on there. Now I'm just going to dab it on the sides here because I did not paint the sides. I'm just going to dab it, and you see how that is going to kind of like come through on the front. I'm just dabbing, making sure I don't get too much. Dabbing, dabbing. I'm probably going to do 2 coats of this. Like I said, I don't care that it's coming across on the front. That's kind of what I want it to do. So I am going to do this. See how that's coming around here? I'm going to do this all the way around. I'm going to give it a minute to dry. And then I'm going to do another coat. Just go around here. Let's get some more. There we go. That's looking pretty good. You know what? I'm just going to pour this paint out onto this piece of paper. That'd be a lot easier than trying to dip this into that lid. All right. I'm going to work on this and be back in a minute. Okay. So I have this, and I'm pretty happy with that. It looks better in person, I'll tell you that. So now we're going to keep working on our friend here. Now I have a piece of this. Oh, Lord, is it dirty? What did I get on it? Anyway. Some of this fuzzy stuff. And what is this? This is one of these fuzzy dusters that came from Dollar Tree. And when you see these, grab a few, because I use them in Christmas crafts a lot, you know, for like snow and stuff. And my store, I don't know about your store, but my store has a hard time keeping these in stock. So anyway, what we're going to do is lose our scissors. Where are they? No, here they are. Oh, this is one of those crap pairs of scissors. Oh my goodness. So anyway, we're just going to cut out a rectangle of this, and then I'm just going to cut some strips here, and we are going to wrap that around his neck. Give it that fuzzy look. We can trim this up later, of course. So where the red part meets the body, this is where we're going to glue the fuzzy stuff on, okay? Just going to lay that there. And I'm going to glue it all the way around his neck. Just hold that in place. And like I said, is that glitter? I've got something on it. My goodness. I had this laying on the craft table. And if you're like me, you have like 50 billion projects going at one time. And that's kind of the situation I've got going on now. I've got all this stuff on my table. Okay. So now that that has stuck there, what we're going to do is, here in a minute, we're going to glue that to our board. One of the easiest things that I have found to do, because this is a Dollar Tree craft, and I'm not going to tell y'all to go out and get plaster of Paris and fill it up to give you a flat backside. We're going to take some paper, and we're going to cram it in his... we're going to cram it in him, okay? And what I'm going to do is take the hot glue, just kind of drizzle some down in there, like so. so that the paper will stick. There's no point in sticking the paper in there if you're not going to try to reinforce it with something. Now this is a fairly thin plastic. I highly suggest using a low temp glue gun for this. This is my glue gun. It is a dual temp. It can be high or low. Look in the description box and I'll have a link to where you can get it. But you see how I'm just gluing that down inside there? And that's just going to, once we fill it up, that's just going to give us a little bit more stability when we go to glue it down to the board, okay? And to glue it down, I'm going to use a mixture of hot glue and E6000. But I'm going to glue more paper in here and kind of fill it up and pack it down in there and try to make this sort of level, like I said, to give us some better grip when we go to glue it down. Okay, so I think we are ready to glue this on here. You see how I have this? And like I said, this is not the perfect solution, but it's a Dollar Tree craft. If you have plaster of Paris, plug this hole up, which I need to put something over that. I'm going to tell you what I'm probably going to do. I'm probably going to just take a spot of hot glue and put there, and then I'm going to paint this red paint over it. Okay, I'm just going to try to fill that in. But this video is going to be long enough without me doing that on camera as well. So I packed this pretty well down in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some E6000 and we're going to go around the very edge. Now don't worry if you're going to get messy with this, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do here in a minute to cover up all that mess, because I'm about to get messy. We're going to put some E6000 right around the rim here, and then I'm going to put some hot glue here on this paper, and then we're going to stick him down, okay? So let's get this, and let's hope that the nozzle isn't clogged up. Oh, no. It's not clogged up. Here he comes. He's like, hi, I'm here. Just glopping myself everywhere. And why am I putting E6000 on here? Well, this is pretty lightweight. The Vulture head itself is pretty light. But, you know, if you have cats, dogs, or feral children running around and they bump it and then they tear it apart, then, you know, you might get a little upset. Let's lay that down there. Go ahead and put this lid back on. All right, so now we're going to put some hot glue right here. The hot glue gives you short-term hold, and the E6000 gives you long-term hold, okay? So the hot glue is going to hold everything in place, kinda, and give that E6000 a chance to set up. So let us put this right about there. And I'm just going to kind of press that down and hold it. Let's make sure I've got it kind of as centered as it's going to be. Okay, now what we're going to do while we're holding this down is we're going to take some of this hot glue and we're going to go around the edge. And yeah, this is going to be messy. Why shouldn't you worry about it? Because we're going to paint this hot glue red here in a minute and make it look like blood because we're being all Halloween-y. So that's what we're going to do with this. I'm trying to make it spooky and gross. I know somebody's going to say, that's too spooky. No, it ain't. It'll be all right. So I'm just going to go around the base with some hot glue. I might run a little bit of hot glue down the front and some drips. Don't know. I'm going to glue it down and we'll be back. Okay, so I believe our glue has set up enough so that I can move this. And I had a pipe cleaner that I was going to glue on the back of this, and now I can't find it. I don't know where it went. It took off probably because it didn't want to be glued to the back of this thing for all eternity. So I have just a piece of cotton yarn here, and I'm just making a loop like so. Excuse me. And we're just going to glue this to the back, and that's what you're going to use to hang it, okay? You can glue it up as high or as low as you want it. I'm just going to put a blob right there. If you have a piece of wire, you can use that. Like I said, a pipe cleaner I was going to use. You can use that. Whatever. The pop tab off of a soft drink can. That works really well for hangers. But, yeah. Okay, now we'll let that dry. And then you can hang it up. Like I said, I was going to use a pipe cleaner, and that's why I was waiting. Now let's prop this up on something so it don't glue itself to the table. And that's why I was waiting to do it, because I didn't want my base to have something glued to the back of it and then be wobbly, you know, while I was trying to work on it. But anyway, now I have this brush here, and we are going to paint with some of this red paint. I'm going to paint on this glue, kind of look, I don't want to say it, YouTube, don't demonetize me, to look gory and bloody. Paint it whatever color you want. But that's why I made the mess with the glue gun like I did. because I thought it would be cool. See, we can just paint that glue right there. And I think it's going to give a really nice effect, because see how the glue is just kind of bumpy and it's not uniform? I think it's really cool. I think it's going to come out all right. All right. So let's get this on there. Oh yeah, that's looking good. That's looking the way I wanted it to. All right. Just going to paint some of this. And I want to paint all the glue all the way around, okay? And then we'll let that paint set up. And I think I'm going to call that done. And there is our Halloween vulture taxidermy decoration doohickey thingy. Anyway, I hope that you liked this video. If you would, please give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe. Check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below. And I hope to see you all next time. Bye.